A pleasant afternoon to everyone. When we think about mountain or forest biodiversity, the first thing that comes to our mind are trees, right? Fair enough, as they are the organisms that define whether a forest is still a forest. However, in rainforest stratification, beneath the canopy, there's this group of plants that account for around 14 to 40% of the total species richness and productivity. Despite their ecological importance, however, they still remain relatively understudied and overlooked. And this group of plants are actually the understory seed plants. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Ken from the Philippines, and allow me to present to you our research and allow me as well to introduce you to their world. To our research entitled The Understory Seed Plant Flora and Their Ecological Threats in Selected Mountain Ecosystems in Mindanao, Philippines. Now, understory seed plants are important components of ecosystems as they provide necessary ecosystem services. And because they are extremely sensitive to even the slightest change, they serve as excellent indicators of forest health. Now, with around 10,200 species, about half of which are endemic to the Philippines is considered as one of the megadiverse countries in the whole world. However, like any other countries that has an immense biological wealth, the Philippines also faces alarming threats. For instance, in the 20th century, the forest cover of the Philippines dwindled from around 70% to only 18.3% by the end of the century. This is particularly evident in Mindanao, in the southern Philippines, wherein from 2000 to around 2020, it has lost around 5.1 million hectares of its total tree cover. Which led us to ask this question prior to the conduct of this research. What are we losing before we even know what is there? And what is driving biodiversity loss faster than the scientific discovery? And so to answer these questions, we have the following objectives. First is to create a checklist of understory seed plants in our sites, to compare the species richness between the study sites, to assess their endemicity and conservation status, to identify their threats, and as well as craft recommendations based on our findings. Now, to attain the following objectives, we follow necessary entry protocols such as getting the permits prior to the collection of the specimens. And in areas where indigenous peoples are present, we attended tribal rituals to respect their culture. Now, in our quest to document the understory seed plants of Mindanao, we've visited in 4 years, from 2023 to 2026, a total of 5 mountains, namely Talangisog Forest, Mount Stimpuok-Hibok-Hibok Natural Monument, Mount Kilakiron in the province of Bukidnon, Sawaga River in the same province, and as well as the forest over limestone in Bukidnon, namely Mount Calaucao. Now, to collect, we followed usual protocols in collecting or inventorying understory seed plants through pressing it in a newspaper and then preserving it using the wet method technique and depositing to the herbarium. For the identification of the specimens, we followed necessary or taxonomic literature and publications, as well as comparing it to the images deposited in the Coast Digital Flora of the Philippines. For assessment of the endemicity and conservation status, we follow the assessment provided by the DENR, and as well as the Book of Fernando in 2022, and as well as the Coast Digital Flora of the Philippines. For the documentation of threats, we interviewed the local people, and as well as we had ground truthing, and as well as field documentation of the threats. As for our results, we recorded a total of 407 species of understory seed plants. This belonged to around 204 genera and 60 families of understory seed plants, which represents around 4.44% of the total Philippine seed plant species, 11.27% of genera, and 24% of the families. More specifically, Mount Kilakiron harbored 152 species, Talangisog Forest with 128 species, Mount Stimpuok-Hibok-Hibok with 108 species, Sawaga River with 75 species, and Mount Calaucao with only 55 species. This meant that Mount Kilakiron harbored the highest species richness, while Mount Calaucao harbored the least. Now, there are a lot of factors that could influence the distribution and the occurrence or the species richness of understory seed plants. This includes landscape position, vegetation types, and other microhabitat factors such as soil pH, temperature, humidity, and so on and so forth. Now, at the family level, the family Orchidaceae was the most species rich with around 65 species. This was followed by the families Araceae, Rubiaceae, Zingiberaceae, and Gisneriaceae. Now, there are two main factors that affect or that contributes to the dominance of these families in these mountain ecosystems. First is their wide variety of growth forms, and second is their ability to allow or to grow even in the most disturbed areas, and as well as some species prefer areas that are primary forest or secondary forest. This means that this reduces their competition between other species, allowing for their diversification and increased species richness. As for the conservation status and endemicity, we found 24 threatened species, 4 are critically endangered, 6 are endangered, 3 are vulnerable, while 11 belong to the other threatened species. A staggering 12%, or 49 species out of our 407 collected understory seed plants, are also Philippine endemics, which means that it only occurs in the Philippines and not elsewhere in the world. We also had novel distribution records. In our project, we recorded 8 as new for Mindanao Island, 48 species are new for Camiguin Island, 38 species are new provincial records for Misamis Oriental, while 28 species are new Bukidnon records. And perhaps the most exciting was the documentation of previously undescribed species or species that are new to science, including Elatostema from the family Orticaceae, Habenaria species from the family Orchidaceae, Anectocylus species, which would be the first species to be described under this genus in the Philippines, and as well as the soon-to-be Begonia trichopeculata under the family Begoniaceae. Now, we also recorded various threats in our study sites, including forest degradation and deforestation, which is particularly evident in areas with lower elevations, such as Talangisog Forest, Sawaga River, and Mount Palaupao. Other threats include land use change and land conversion, where trees are toppled down in exchange for road expansion and road construction. And aside from that, forests are also converted to be replaced by ornamental, timber, and fruit plantations. Now, we also recorded the proliferation of invasive species. These are the most common invasive species across our study site, which includes the Acacia mangium, Tithonia diversifolia, Lantana camaras, Patodea campanulata, Nephrolitis biserata, and Swietenia macrophylla. But what's heartbreaking is the proliferation or the widespread occurrence of the top invasive plant species in Mindanao, also known as buyo-buyo or Piper adonco. And as well as, unfortunately, even in the most protected area, an ASEAN heritage site, Mount Stipong Ibok-Ibok Natural Monument, there's a big portion of the forest that has an invasive species, particularly mahogany. This is a result when the government agencies doesn't connect with scientists or researchers during their conservation projects, unfortunately. Other threats include unsustainable ecotourism, such as Mount Palaupao, and lastly, poaching of other understory seed plants. These are some of the highlights of the interviews that we had with other people. Now, some of you may ask, how do these threats affect the understory seed plants? Now, they affect understory seed plants because they result in the loss of specialized microhabitats. They influence light stress. They also limit food sources, induces physiological stress, and as well as outcompete native understory seed plants. And so, what do we do? Now, as taxonomists, we make sure that these data does not remain in ourselves but trickle down to the very people who reside in the forest. Now, as a response, we do capacity building of local researchers. We teach them basic plant identification and biodiversity monitoring. And we also make sure that we know how do they protect their forest, and they know as well how do we scientifically do it. We make them understand that their forests are not just resources worth protecting, but as well as a forest that is teeming with biodiversity. Because we believe that when science and tradition meet, conservation becomes both powerful and enduring. Now, we also amplify public awareness and communication in our study areas. Our project resulted in the creation and dissemination of 10 SEPA materials because we believe that education and mainstreaming is important in biodiversity and conservation. We also do consultation with the stakeholders because we believe that they are the ones who are responsible for creating laws and ordinances for the protection of the study areas. And during a consultation, these were the ones that we have given to them. So, as I end this presentation, I have this quote that says, the question is now, is not whether the study areas deserve protection, but whether we will act while there is still something left to protect. So allow me to thank the IES for giving me the opportunity to present the results of our research study. And for inquiries or for further questions or collaborations, please don't hesitate to email me to the email I've given on your screen. Again, maraming salamat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.